Thank you for choosing to spend some time with me today at My Media Museum, episode 13 of our Mixed Box 11 45 RPM vinyl records collections, and we've made it into the collectibles portion of this series here. Now it's not entirely all collectibles, but it's mixed up a bit. But as we get a few more episodes down the road, we're going to have entire episodes that are nothing but collectibles because I have so many of these here to show you. But here we've got the Teen Queens doing Eddie My Love. That does seem to ring a bit of a bell for me. I would be pretty sure that if I put this one on the turntable and dropped a needle on it that we would recognize it. The B-side is The Cadets. And if you were just watching the last episode, we were just discussing how a lot of these collectibles have different artists on the different sides. These are not original editions of the vinyls that came out at the time that the songs were new. These were catering to collector's market for jukeboxes and whatever. So there's a lot of these that have different artists on the different sides, and here's another one of those with the Cadets doing Stranded in the Jungle. And as I've said already, I'm repeating myself, I know, as we get a little bit farther down in the stack here, we're going to see a lot of those with two different artists. So that's great, though. That gives you more of an opportunity to maybe ring some memory bells for you if you're of the generation that was around when these songs were coming out. And if not, it just gives you more of an opportunity to be exposed to more and more titles, more and more bands that you might want to look into and check out. Here we've got the Knockouts, Darlene Lorraine. Neither rings any bells for me. I don't know the Knockouts, and I don't recognize the title of the song, Darlene Lorraine. But when you're talking top 40 hits, and you're talking about a bunch of them that are in the, upper end of that, hitting close to barely getting into the top 40s, which is what a lot of this guy's collection was actually top 40s. You get those obscure ones, you'll have a whole bunch of bands and titles that you won't recognize, but the minute you put them on and play them, you're like, oh man, I haven't heard that in forever. Especially as time goes on now, as we're getting farther and farther away from the period, radio stations are playing less and less and less of these classic songs, so you're only hearing the same ones over and over again and not getting some of these more obscure ones at this point in time, 2024. The Bell Notes, I've Had It. There's another one, they hit number 6 in February of 1959. Well, that's a little smackerel before my time there, but, a lot of that material from the 50s and 60s was still getting a lot of radio airplay in the 70s, which is my time when I was growing up, late 60s, early 70s. So, there again, I could have heard this song, known the song, but 30, 40 years down the road, no, ain't ringing no bells for me. Now, here's one that does kinda. Tommy Row with Sheila. Well, since it hit number 1 in August of 1962, it doesn't surprise me that I would recognize that. Once you get up in those top 10 songs, much more likely you're going to recognize at least the song title or the artist. But I have heard of Tommy Row and Sheila. And you'll notice it says 1973 on here, so this is clearly a Golden Records Hit Series reissue on the Roulette label. I almost said Roulette, I think it's Roulette. I'm not really positive about the correct pronunciation of that, and that might be a matter of opinion depending on what area of the country you're in, or even the world. But yeah, it's a cool label. I always liked the artwork, the graphics on theirs. And we've got Tommy Row also on the B-side with another song that was apparently a hit for him because it hit number 8 in July of 66 with Sweet Pea, which that just makes me think of Popeye, So any other Sweet Pea out there? Anybody else know of any other Sweet Pea reference than Popeye's? It was a nephew, I believe, wasn't it? A nephew? Or was he related to Olive Oyl somehow? I'm a little ashamed to admit I'm a big Popeye fan and I love Popeye cartoons, but I just can't remember at this point where Sweet Pea's relations laid. But I know he was the little baby in the cartoons. I know that much is correct. And next up, we've got Gary and the Peacemakers. Now, that's a band that I have definitely heard of before. Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying. Might have hit number 4 in June of 1964, but it didn't hit any marks in my brain this morning. So don't let the sun catch you crying. Like I said, I recognize Gary and the Peacemakers. I definitely know of that band. Next side, the B side, is Girl on a Swing. And you'll notice this is noted as mono. I didn't take note on the other side if it's noted as mono either. We're going to flip it over and take another look. But see, now we're looking at, I'm guessing that's 28. Might be 38 in October of 66. So here's another one that I was just discussing. It's kind of in the higher end of the top 40s. Probably not something you're hearing on the radio anymore these days, but something that did get a lot of radio play back in the day. So that was mono. Let's see the other side. Oh, see, no, the other side is stereo. So that's very interesting. But being that it's 64 for the stereo and 66 for the mono, got no explanations why we're getting mono and stereo versions there of different songs. We're not going to talk about the mono stereo for the billionth time, but if you've been watching the channel and you've been watching my videos, you know why a lot of those mono versions exist. Here we've got Donnie Brooks with a song called Mission Bell. Kind of rings a little teeny tiny bit of a bell. I might recognize this one, especially since it hit number 7 in July of 1960. It's an Era Records, which I don't recall having, come across too many of that distributors. Not all that impressive a logo there, is it either? Back-to-back hits. So the B side of that one is Donnie Brooks doing Dollhouse, which apparently hit number 31 in December of 1960. So there you go. There's another one of those upper end top 40s that probably is falling into obscurity these days. So if you know Donnie Brooks and you know Dollhouse, hopefully that brought back a memory or two for you. But I don't know either one of these songs, and I never can recall hearing of Donnie Brooks before. So another Eric oldie sleeve. And for a nice refreshing change, we've got the vinyl that matches, and a sleeve and a vinyl that match. And yeah, okay, one more time I'm going to throw that out there. So many times these sleeves and the vinyls don't match because people load up their jukeboxes, put the sleeves in the bottom, and when they pull stuff out, they don't bother to take the time to match them up. So that's why you find so many used vinyls in shops that they don't bother to go back through and match them up and fix them either. So, but that's how it happens. That's why there's so much of it. Billy Bland doing Let the Little Girl Dance. Hit number 7 in March of 1960, looks like. But there again, this whole portion of this, and this is why I was kind of excited about picking up this box, because I was really happy to get those obscure tracks, those songs that aren't as common, aren't as well known. Much more likely to hit somebody at a party with a memory that they hadn't thought about in decades, and those are always fun. It's always fun to have a tune or an item that you might see that you're like, oh, I had that toy when I was a kid, but you hadn't thought about it in forever. Those are fun moments. I enjoy moments like that. I think most people do. Here on the B side of this one, we've got the Earls doing Remember Then. Not remember when, but remember then. And hit number 24. And I believe that's supposed to be a 1. So we're going to say January of 62. Some of the writing, some of the notations on here get a little sloppy or a little difficult to make out. But I think that's supposed to be January of 62 there. But you'll notice there's also a... okay, he rewrote it. January of 63. So one of those is probably correct. I haven't run across one where he's corrected himself like that. And I'm not a hardcore collector. One might think I was with the collections that I have. But I'm pretty casual about it. I'm really casual. So I don't have a lot of reference books. I don't have, a lot of information or facts about this is an original and this is a second printing, and I don't, because I just haven't gotten that much into it. I'm into a lot of things, especially if you've seen the channel. I'm into even more things I haven't even gotten any examples of up on the channel yet. But I'm an avid collector, but not a hardcore collector of anything other than really probably the DVDs. So here we've got Ronnie Dove doing Right or Wrong. And that hit number 14 in November of '64 on Underground Records, and clearly marked as the A-side. Thank you, Underground Records. I really appreciate it when the distributors clearly marked what was an A and what was a B-side. At the time that you bought it, people would have known what the A-side was because they were going to the shop to buy that song. And more often than not, it was the A-side, not the B. Although there are numerous stories about different songs like Maggie May by Rod Stewart that was originally a B-side and was far more popular than the A and is well known now while the A is kind of faded. So, but more often than not, people were going to a store, they knew what the A-side and the B-side was going to be something different. This one I notice is marked as mono on the B-side here, and it's a song called Mountain of Love by Ronnie Dove doing Mountain of Love. That's funny. This one's marked as stereo. So here again we've got one with a mono on the B-side and a stereo on the A-side. Interesting. Very interesting. That's about all I can say. Don't know if I've shown that recently. It gives you a nice clear shot of that. And it's in for the catalog there with their address. Alright, so probably going to be the last one for this episode here. And what we've got is Sir Douglas Quintet. She's About a Mover. I know that I'm a mover song, but She's About a Mover, I'm not so sure. Hit number 13, it says here, in April of '65. And the B-side is still Sir Douglas Quintet. And doing Mendocino? I would guess that's probably Mendocino. Sometimes it's very difficult to figure out what the proper pronunciation is. But yeah, I think I got that one right. So, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you have an amazing day. Appreciate any thumbs up you feel like throwing my way. And if you've enjoyed it and you're new to the channel, feel free to take time to subscribe.